I know my boundaries. I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's ass. I know I will
just got knocked out, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. All this, but I want to fight you.
AJ this morning, he went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah, but he might do it. He might just do it for, just for doing it, for the sake of it. But obviously we know, listen, Jake creates massive events.
Look into the camera and say it directly because it just has to be said. Jake Paul, sir, you are absolutely delusional.
Jake Paul has been outspoken about wanting to take on top-tier boxers, and now Anthony Joshua has weighed in. Speaking to his promoter, Eddie Hearn, Joshua simply said, "Listen, I'd fight him." Hearn shared this insight, emphasizing that AJ is never one to shy away from a challenge. While a fight between the two seems unlikely due to the significant gap in experience, Joshua's openness to the idea has sparked plenty of buzz. Whether Paul genuinely wants to face him or is just stirring up hype is yet to be seen. But one thing's clear, AJ...
We're here, I want to ask you a question because the world of media went mental this morning. Anthony Joshua against Jake Paul. Please put this to bed or light the fire. What's going on?
I mean, sorry. This is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'll do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But the only thing that was disappointing was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, LA Olympics for the surfing 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage, but I don't know. Those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning. He went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah, but he might do it. He might just do it for, just for doing it, for the sake of it. But obviously we know, listen, Jake creates massive events, right? You know that's going to create unbelievable viewership, and no disrespect to Jake Paul, it's a straightforward night's work. But I like this calling out of Canelo and all this. AJ it's another challenge up there. But if they're game, why not?
What did he say, AJ, to you about it?
He said, why not? I said, what do you want me to say when I'm asked about it? And he said, tell everyone I'll fight anyone, anytime. It's not a problem for me.
Jake Paul has set his sights on Anthony Joshua, claiming the former heavyweight champion has no chin, no skills, and is stiff. The YouTuber-turned-boxer took to Twitter, posting a picture of Joshua making a phone call with the caption, "Look who called, 2026 Anthony Joshua." Paul insists he would easily beat Joshua, sparking further speculation. In response, Anthony Joshua shared a screenshot on Instagram showing the moment where he was on a call with Jake Paul. This post came shortly after Paul publicly called him out, claiming he would defeat Joshua in a boxing match. This social media back and forth has fueled buzz among fans about the possibility of a showdown between the two. Meanwhile, Jake shared a post from BVFA Sports, which revealed that he had sent a list of desired fights for 2025 and 2026, with Anthony Joshua included, just days after his matchup with Canelo fell through. Jake confirmed in a call that he was serious about the challenge. The boxing community and fans have had strong reactions to Jake Paul's challenge. Many believe his ambition to take on a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua is unrealistic and overly ambitious.
As I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again, I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, "At Jake Paul is the truth. Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights. Then he asked for the toughest fights ever, and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh, crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind. You're right. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying, the co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects. And Jake.
Adding to the complexity of Jake Paul's boxing endeavors, reports suggest that he is also scheduled to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. This development follows Davis's recent controversial match
to Jake Paul's boxing ambitions. Reports indicate that he is also set to face Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This follows Davis's recent controversial bout with Lamont Roach. Despite the potential matchup with Davis, Paul has made it clear that his primary goal is to challenge Anthony Joshua, showcasing his ambition to take on high-profile opponents across multiple weight classes.
Who were you going to call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
God damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
In the aftermath of his fight with Lamont Roach, Gervonta Davis seized the moment to call out Jake Paul during the post-fight conference. This unexpected challenge adds another twist to the unfolding story of Jake Paul's boxing career.
Has just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony, saying, "Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass." This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lamont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight. AJ is too classy for that. Way too classy. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you follow for the most up-to-date and sharpest boxing news and content on TikTok.
Jake Paul's bold call-out of Anthony Joshua, a two-time unified heavyweight champion, has raised eyebrows in the boxing world. Many observers are astonished that Paul, with his relatively limited boxing experience, would make such confident claims about a fighter of Joshua's caliber.
Well then, it looks like Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul might be in discussions to fight. They were both on a call to each other earlier, and the viral video went round of Jake Paul saying he would knock out Anthony Joshua. If I'm being completely honest, I think Jake Paul would actually be lucky to make it out alive, and I'm actually being dead serious. I think Jake Paul will be lucky to make it out of the ring with Anthony Joshua alive. Tyron Woodley literally had Jake Paul on skates and had Jake Paul panicking for his life. Imagine what Anthony Joshua would do. Look at what Joshua did to the last non-boxer he fought in France at Ngannou. That is not going to end well for Jake Paul. But look, let's be real here. This fight should never happen. It's an absolute disgrace to the sport if it does. And yeah, there's got to be a lot of backlash if this actually happens, because it's actually probably worse to the sport of boxing than what Fury in Ngannou was when it came around, or or Mayweather McGregor. It can't happen.
The boxing community has swiftly reacted to Jake Paul's comments about Anthony Joshua, with critics pointing to Paul's previous loss to Tommy Fury as evidence of his lack of credibility in assessing Joshua's abilities. One Twitter user summed up the sentiment, saying, "YouTube boxer Jake Paul, who lost to Tommy Fury, says heavyweight Anthony Joshua has no chin, no skill, is stiff, and that he would beat him. What the hell is this guy talking about?" Despite the backlash, Anthony Joshua has shown some openness to Paul's challenge, reportedly telling his promoter, Eddie Hearn, that he would fight him. Hearn shared Joshua's response, "Listen, I'd fight him." While this indicates Joshua's willingness, many in the boxing world view the potential matchup as unrealistic due to the vast gap in experience and skill between the two fighters. Some have even described the prospect of such a fight as delusional, questioning the legitimacy and competitiveness of the proposed bout.
Jake Paul beats Anderson Silva, we should all fucking boycott the rest of his fights until he fucking fights someone that's on his level, or whatever level we deem him to be on. You talk all this shit about MMA fighters, you talk shit about the UFC, then you pretend that you want to bring fighters up and you want everyone to get paid better, but then you trash everyone every time they fight. Now we're putting food on your fucking table for you to drag our legends, older, shorter, smaller, past their prime legends that have spent their entire careers running their bodies into fucking car accidents, and then we hold these guys near and dear to our heart. And then this fuckhead just pulls him out of fucking semi-retirement and then just knocks him out in fucking pay-per-view and then she'll shits on all of us. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, why are we still fucking pandering to this piece of shit?
MMA fighter Anthony Smith has weighed in on Jake Paul's approach to boxing, suggesting that Paul targets legendary fighters to secure big paydays. Smith believes that Paul's strategy revolves around provoking established names with trash talk, ultimately leading to high-profile bouts that generate significant financial returns. This view aligns with criticisms of Paul's matchmaking choices, which often feature older or less active fighters, a tactic that has sparked debate among boxing purists.
McGregor's done.
I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older, and I'm only getting better.
Jake Paul's ambitions reach beyond boxing, as he has also expressed interest in fighting MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul has claimed that his boxing skills are improving, while suggesting that McGregor's abilities are waning with age. This statement has been met with skepticism, given McGregor's extensive combat sports background and accomplishments. Paul's comments reflect his confidence and his strategy of challenging high-profile athletes to boost his own profile in the combat sports world.
Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, "I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass." You know what? I want this to happen, just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP and Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out? I'm saying 5 seconds.
Many fans are eager to see a fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, largely because they believe Joshua would dominate and humble Paul in the ring. Paul's history of calling out elite fighters and claiming superiority over them has made him one of the most polarizing figures in combat sports. Many feel that his confidence in challenging Joshua is unrealistic, given the vast gap in experience, skill, and weight class. Despite this, the possibility of a fight between the two has sparked massive interest, with some hoping Joshua would silence Paul's bold claim.
Generate attention and sell fights has brought a new audience to boxing, something that traditional boxing purists may not always appreciate.
Jake Paul?
Yeah, good. Great for boxing. Good luck to him. He's trying. Zero amateur experience. Throwing himself in the deep end. I guarantee you he'll probably learn a lot more than a lot of fighters will that are just half-hearted with it. Man's throwing himself in the deep end, putting himself under pressure. When you can deal with that amount of pressure, you have to get better at it. So yeah, good luck to him. Good luck.
Anthony Joshua has finally shared his thoughts on Jake Paul's rising influence in boxing. While he acknowledges that Paul lacks the experience of a seasoned boxer, Joshua admits that Paul has been beneficial for the sport, particularly in terms of generating financial success and big paydays. Joshua recognizes that Paul's ability to attract attention and sell fights has brought a fresh audience to boxing, something that traditional boxing purists may not always fully appreciate.
The king of the United Kingdom. And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight, and what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money, get in there, make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
Jake Paul has long expressed admiration for Anthony Joshua, calling him one of his favorite fighters. Despite his recent trash talk, Paul has previously praised Joshua for his achievements and boxing skills. However, Paul's latest remarks indicate frustration with the boxing industry, as he claims that too much emphasis is placed on money and politics, rather than making the most exciting fights a reality.
What do you make of this YouTube
10 out of 10.
boxing scene?
I'm telling you, it's good for boxing because it's showing people you can fight someone that is well-known, credible, can fight, marketable, without a championship and have that same effect early on in your career, and you can still get all the rewards anyway. So I think that they're showing guys, oh, hang on a minute, there's so much potential in boxing regardless of championships. And I think it's good because now people start taking more risks early on. These guys coming into the game are changing the landscape for the better, showcasing that if you have a business mind on, marketable, creative, content-driven, obviously talented, you can generate big business and do great things.
Jake Paul has confidently proclaimed himself as the only real fighter in boxing, asserting that he is the one who truly brings excitement and energy to the sport. In contrast to some traditional boxers who dismiss YouTube boxing entirely, Anthony Joshua has taken a more measured stance. He has acknowledged that YouTube boxing has been beneficial for the sport, attracting a new audience and boosting overall viewership. Joshua recognizes that fighters like Jake Paul have introduced boxing to younger fans who might not have been interested in the sport